What if the daughter who once smiled through every episode of a hit reality show finally revealed the true price her family paid for fame? In her 2023 memoir Counting the Cost, Jill Duggar pulls back the curtain on years of private struggles, financial disputes, and painful family secrets that played out far from the cameras. From unexpected contracts signed under pressure to near-tragic moments in the delivery room and explosive confrontations over money and loyalty, the book delivers one revelation after another. These are not rumors or second-hand reports. They are the details Jill herself chose to share about growing up in the spotlight of 19 kids and counting on. If you thought you knew the full story of the Duggar family, this memoir challenges that assumption. Stick around as we break down the 10 biggest bombshells that have fans and followers still talking years later. The Duggar family first captured national attention in the early 2000s through TLC specials that highlighted their large, conservative Christian household in Arkansas. Jim, Bob, and Michelle Duggar raised 19 children under strict beliefs influenced by the Institute in Basic Life Principles. Their everyday life, homeschooling, modest dress, courtship rules, and constant expansion of the family became appointment television. 19 kids and counting turned them into household names, drawing millions of viewers who tuned in for births, weddings, and the carefully presented image of wholesome family values. Behind the scenes, the children grew up with cameras present for many of life's biggest moments. Jill, the fourth oldest daughter, married Derek Dillard in 2014 in a highly publicized ceremony. The couple later appeared on the spin-off Counting On. Over time, cracks appeared in the public picture. Scandals involving their oldest brother Josh led to the original show's cancellation. Jill and Derek gradually stepped away from the family programming and began speaking more openly about their experiences. In September 2023, Jill released Counting the Cost, written with Derek and collaborator Craig Borlas. The book offers her personal account of the emotional, spiritual, and financial costs of life in the Duggar household and under the network's lens. What follows are the most striking claims she makes in its pages, presented as her own recollections and attributions. Jill writes that on the chaotic day before her 2014 wedding, her father handed her a single page to sign. She says he offered little explanation, and she signed without fully understanding that the document locked her into 5 additional years of filming for the family's reality shows. That contract later became a central point of conflict when she and Derek sought more independence. Another major disclosure centers on compensation. According to Jill, she and her siblings received little to no direct pay for years of appearances while their parents' company, Mad Family Incorporated, collected the network fees. She estimates the company earned roughly $8 million over the course of the shows. When she and Derek began asking questions, Jim, Bob, and Michelle allegedly offered each of the older children a one-time payment of $80,000, but only if they signed a new agreement committing themselves and their future children to continued filming, potentially indefinitely, along with a lifelong non-disclosure agreement. Jill and Derek declined that offer. Further complications arose when the couple received an IRS letter indicating they had been paid about $130,000, an amount they say they never actually received. Jim Bob reportedly responded with an itemized list of expenses he considered prior support, including household costs from their childhood. The dispute escalated until, after legal involvement, Jill and Derek received a settlement of $175,000 and freedom from further filming obligations. Jill describes the outcome as feeling hollow despite the financial resolution. One of the most intense personal moments she recounts involves a heated mediation session with her parents. Jill claims that after her father pressed her to apologize for a text in which she accused him of verbal abuse, she told him, "You treat me worse than you treat my pedophile brother." The exchange, as she describes it, left deep emotional scars and highlighted the fracture in their relationship. Linked to the financial tension, Jill also writes that Jim Bob warned her that continued attacks could significantly lower the inheritance she was set to receive, 1/19 of the family's assets held in trust. On the medical front, Jill details the traumatic birth of her second son, Samuel, in 2017. She says she suffered a uterine rupture during labor, required an emergency cesarean section, and needed a blood transfusion. Her husband later told her the hole in her uterus was as large as his fist, and doctors indicated she could have died without the intervention. The baby experienced a brain bleed that later resolved, but the ordeal left Jill grappling with questions about future pregnancies and her long-held beliefs about large families. She also shares that after this birth she used birth control for a time to allow her body to heal, keeping the decision largely private because of family expectations. Jill addresses the long shadow of her brother Josh's actions as well. She recalls being 11 when her parents informed her that Josh had confessed about some stuff that he's done. The family, she says, was discouraged from discussing the matter openly under teachings that warned against stirring contention. When a 2006 police report detailing the allegations became public in 2015 through a magazine expose, Jill describes being overcome by horror at the graphic details now available to the world. She also writes about feeling pressure to participate in a Fox News interview that minimized the harm. Later, when Josh was arrested in 2021 on federal child pornography charges, Jill says she was willing to testify if needed, though authorities ultimately had sufficient evidence without her. Additional revelations include the control over personal milestones. Jill claims she and Derek were expected to inform producers of her first pregnancy before telling her own parents so the announcement could be filmed. She also describes the pushback she faced when she began wearing pants and got a nose piercing, choices that clashed with the modest dress standards she had followed her entire life. Together these accounts paint a picture of a young woman navigating loyalty, autonomy, and the lasting effects of growing up both in a tightly controlled household and under constant public scrutiny. Public response to Counting the Cost was swift and varied. Many longtime viewers expressed support for Jill, praising her courage in sharing details that had previously remained private and noting how the book humanized the pressures of reality television on children. Media outlets including People, the Los Angeles Times, and E! News highlighted the financial and contractual claims as particularly striking, while some coverage focused on the emotional weight of the family confrontations. On social media, reactions ranged from empathy for Jill's near-death childbirth experience and her evolving faith to skepticism from those who felt the memoir portrayed Jim Bob and Michelle unfairly. Some fans of the original shows defended the parents' intentions and the family's religious values, arguing that Jill's perspective was one-sided. Others pointed to the book as further evidence of broader issues surrounding the Institute in Basic Life Principles teachings and the ethics of filming minors for profit. Overall, the conversation stayed largely focused on the specific claims rather than descending into unfounded speculation, with many readers noting that the memoir presented a critical yet still affectionate view of her upbringing. Looking ahead, the memoir itself remains the primary source of these revelations. Jill has continued to share aspects of her life through social media and occasional interviews, focusing on her growing family and personal growth. No major new legal actions or official family statements directly responding to every claim in the book have dominated headlines in the years since its release. Viewers interested in the ongoing story can watch for any future projects from Jill or updates involving other Duggar siblings as they navigate life after the end of the TLC shows. The broader conversation about reality television's impact on large families and the long-term effects of strict ideological environments continues in documentaries and discussions sparked in part by works like this one. Jill Duggar Dillard's Counting the Cost offers a detailed, first-person look at the hidden layers of a family once celebrated for its openness. From the unsigned understanding of contracts and unpaid years of work to the life-threatening birth experience, the confrontation over loyalty, and the lingering effects of past scandals, the 10 major points she raises challenge the polished image many once accepted. The book does not claim to speak for every family member, yet it provides a clear window into one woman's journey toward independence and healing. Whether these disclosures reshape how audiences remember 19 Kids and Counting is something only time and further conversation will determine. What are your thoughts on this latest Duggar family update? Share your opinion in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another Duggar family update.